Picture this. You're looking at a graph. You calculate the average, and you think you've got the whole story. But what if I told you that number is completely lying to you?
Seriously, it raises a massive question for anyone looking at data. If a data set is kind of chopped off on one side, why does the average suddenly become so incredibly misleading? Why does it just pull away from where most of your actual data sits? Well, by the end of this explainer, you are going to understand exactly how to read different distribution shapes. We're going to see how a sneaky thing called skewness literally pulls the mean, median, and mode apart. We'll visualize this step by step so you never get fooled by an average again.
Section 1. Perfect mirror. Symmetrical data.
Let's start with the easiest shape to build our baseline. A symmetrical distribution is basically one where, if you drop a vertical line right down the middle, you get perfect mirror images on the left and the right. The left side balances exactly with the right side.
And here's what's so cool about this. In a perfectly symmetrical distribution with just one main peak, your mean, median, and mode are all exactly the same. Look at this. They all equal 7. They're stacked right on top of each other perfectly at that center peak. Section 2. Pulled left. Negative skew. So what happens when we break that perfect mirror? Imagine a shape where the right side seems abruptly chopped off and the data is dragged out into this long tail on the left. We literally call this skewed to the left because the data is being pulled out in that direction. Notice how this totally messes with our center points. The mode? It stays planted at the highest peak, right at 7. But look at the median. It's shifted down to 6.5. And the mean has dropped even further to 6.3. The mean is now less than the median, and both are less than the mode. Now you might be asking yourself, why does this happen? Why does the mean drop so much lower than the median here? Take a second and really think about the math behind an average. Well, it comes down to this. The mean is affected by outliers that just do not influence the median. Because calculating a mean has to include every single value, those few extreme low numbers way out in that left tail drag the whole average down. The median, it just finds the physical middle of the lineup, so it stubbornly stays near the main cluster.
Section 3. Pulled right. Positive skew.
Let's completely flip the script. This time, the left side looks chopped off and the data stretches out into a long tail on the right. This is what we call skewed to the right, or a positive skew.
And just look at how the numbers respond this time. The mode is still hanging out at the highest peak at 7. But now, the mean is the largest of the three at 7.7, with the median caught in the middle at 7.5. That long right tail is literally lifting the average up. Wait, this is super important. Quick test for you. Out of our three measures, mean, median, and mode, which one reflects the skewing the most? Which one is the most sensitive? It's the mean, because it factors in the actual numerical value of those crazy outliers in the tail. The mean gets pulled the absolute hardest away from the peak.
Section 4. The mean versus median rule.
Let's boil this all down into 3 golden rules. 1. If it's symmetric, the mean and median are roughly equal. 2. If it's a left skew, the mean is typically less than the median. And 3. If it's a right skew, the mean is typically greater than the median. Now, sure, there are exceptions, especially with discrete data, but generally, the shape tells you exactly where these center points are going to fall. Let's bring this into the real world. Section 5. Real example, author styles. Statisticians actually use word counts to identify authors. Here's a sample comparing letter counts for 3 authors, Terry, Davis, and Morris. We're just looking at how many letters are in a sequence of their words to figure out their typical word length. If we plotted this out, Terry's word lengths stretch way out to the right. He throws in these massive, long words that create a right or positive skew. Davis is the exact opposite. Most of his words are a consistent length, with just a few tiny words forming a tail to the left, giving him a negative skew.
And check this out. Our rules predict their stats perfectly. For Terry's right skew, his mean of 3.7 is greater than his median of 3. For Davis's left skew, his mean of 2.7 gets pulled down below his median of 3. It's like a math puzzle where all the pieces just fit.
Then we have our third author, Morris. Her distribution is perfectly symmetrical. But wait, look at the numbers, a mean of 4.6 and a median of 4. They aren't exactly identical. This is that exception I mentioned earlier. With discrete data, like counting whole letters, since you obviously can't have half a letter, the mean and median will be centrally located and super close, but not always exactly the same decimal.
So here is your ultimate takeaway, the key rule to remember from all of this. The median is practically glued to the main cluster of data, always staying closest to the high point, the mode. But the mean, it's the sensitive one. It gets dragged out onto the tail by those extreme outliers.
Why does any of this matter? Because understanding skewness and symmetry isn't just about drawing pretty charts. It is the secret key to unlocking probability distributions, which is the foundation for everything in advanced statistics. So next time you see an average, ask yourself, what is the shape of the data